Texas Tech 82, UNC Wilmington 72. Uh, Dion Wilmington led in the second half of this game. Was there any part of you that felt like they were going to win? Or I guess at what point did that feeling come into play for you?
I never thought they were gonna win, but I did. There was a point where I was like, "This is gonna be like a game Tech's gonna have to squeak out." They ultimately didn't. I mean, they hit a lot of middies. Wilmington did like some tough middies too.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like easy middies. Like they were having to wiggle off of guys. I thought Tech played decent defense, but I thought they were a little lackluster in effort. And the shot selection was just bizarre to me. Like they nearly shot. They shot a school record in threes in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
46 threes and you made 13 of them.
It's crazy.
At some point, like I understand the math, maybe go inside a little bit.
I mean, they're
Flip
so
things
much
up.
bigger than Wilmington.
Yeah.
They're so much more athletic than Wilmington. They got whatever they wanted on the inside. It didn't make sense that they were choosing to play the way they wanted to. But it worked. I mean, they scored 82 points. If they play a little bit better defense, I mean, maybe it makes a little bit more sense how they did everything. So maybe we didn't see like the finished product just because they had like a lackluster performance, I guess you could say. But wasn't the most impressive game from Tech, in my opinion, as someone that has them going really far in the tournament. But March Madness surviving advance.
Survive and advance. Every team, this holds true of national champions. This holds true of Elite Eight teams. This holds true of Cinderellas. Every team has one game where they struggle much more than they should.
Mhm.
I don't know if this was that game for Texas Tech, but it wouldn't surprise me if they are in the Elite Eight and we look back and you're like, oh, remember that game where they shot a ton of threes and made none of them?
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that's certainly in their own possibility for this Texas Tech team. Kerwin Walton saved them, quite frankly. His 27 points were huge, and the plays he made, particularly in the second half, as UNC Wilmington was right there with Texas Tech, were huge. And we have to give Wilmington some credit here. Like they didn't shoot it great themselves. They're only 7 26 from three, but their ability to fight won the rebounding battle in this game and their toughness. I was impressed with the effort they gave and the level of play they came into this game with. Like the fact that this was only a 10-point game and was dicey deep in the second half was not a fluke. This was a good team.
Yeah, I thought they played extremely well. I mean, they were very they shoot the ball phenomenally. Phenomenally?
Phenomenal.
Phenomenally. Uh they
Phenomenal.
shoot yeah, they shoot the ball phenomenal. Whatever word. They're a good shooting team. And I know the percentages don't really show it, but they were a good shooting team. I thought they held toe to toe for somewhat with in terms of the athleticism with Tech as well. Maybe not so much. Like I'm not gonna get a little carried away with that statement, but I think they were able to hold toe to toe. I thought they played really organized. They played disciplined as well. Um, until down the stretch. The rest kind of ruined this one a little bit, though. I mean, everybody was in the bonus. I think
Oh.
these were two teams that wanted to play a physical, fast style of basketball. I don't know if the rest really let them do it at all times.
Yeah, yeah, but I heard more talk about this from announcers today than I've ever heard it before. Um, and Jay Wright said something about it during first four coverage too. But the NCAA tournament's officiated differently than the regular season, and particularly power conferences because a lot of times refs let you play a little bit more physical in those games. But also, the refs advance rounds like teams do based on how they perform and how they are like judged. And so, because officials want to like keep moving on, they want to get calls correct. And so they're more apt to not let you play as physical so that they're not looking at their own highlight film of all their missed calls.
Right.
It leads to some of that, which is unfortunate, and I hate it because it shouldn't be the way it's called two different ways. Um, but it just a way things work, a way things worked.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like, it's not, it was just nitpicky of me. Like, if there
Yeah,
was one aspect of the game where I was just like, that was frustrating, Like it just felt like they were not like letting them go sometimes, especially down the stretch.
Yeah,
There was a lot of whistles down the stretch. So I don't know. That's nitpicky, but nonetheless, I thought like, if this is Texas Tech's D game, that's a really good D game.
yeah,
And I do believe this was UNC Wilmington's A game. Not too many mid majors that I think I'm gonna leave being more impressed by than Wilmington though.
yeah. I was surprised Newbie did not have a bigger game. And I think Texas Tech's guards deserve credit for the way they played defense on him. I thought that was really good. But Wilmington matched them everywhere. Like
Yeah.
if Elijah Hawkins was not as well rounded as he was in this game, like great defense, 14 points, 10 assists, 9 boards, almost a triple double. Like you add Kerwin Walton with his shooting late in the game, and the plays Elijah Hawkins was making that kind of saved them.
Mhm.
I don't.
I think
I
Elijah Hawkins definitely saved them because you got a bad Christian Anderson game. And I don't
the
think you didn't get a bad JT Topping game, 12 and 11, 2 blocks, but
you only gave him 8 shots.
yeah,
That
was
like
not
that
involved in the
that
game.
can't happen. You can't shoot 46 threes and give your All American 8 shots.
And he wasn't involved in the game down the stretch at all, by the way.
No,
Like he had the block, I want to say, at some point in the last 4 minutes. I apologize for not remembering the exact sequence, but he did have a block and he had a rebound. But the fact that that's what I remember is like, dog, that's your best player.
we've watched a lot of basketball today, Dion. It's okay if,
We have,
if some
yeah,
of it runs together.
yeah. But I mean, it's like what I'm remembering from your best player is a block and a rebound. Like, come on,
Yeah,
man, that's your
it.
best player.
I don't know if this was a strategy just for this game, but Texas Tech shoots a lot of threes. Normally, moving forward, I want to see Toppin get more involved because to
Absolutely.
me, this Texas Tech team at its best shoots a lot of threes, but does it like through Toppin. Right, Hawkins is a phenomenal playmaker. You're obviously going to have him do some stuff, but Walton and Williams are really good shooters. Anderson's typically a good shooter, but it works when you have defenses collapsing on Toppin because he's producing, or they're stretched out and he's got one-on-one opportunities in the post. Like to me, the shooting is your strategy, but Toppin is option one,
Yeah.
and he was option five in this game, which was weird.
I mean, option five might honestly be like a bit of a generous like thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even know if he was option five. He legitimately was non-existent in this
Yeah,
game a lot of the time, and it was one of those situations like you needed a bucket in a lot of spots. Like there was a lot of times where it's like, hey,
yeah,
Texas needs a bucket. And Walton gave it to them a lot of the times. Hawkins gave it to him a lot of times. Darian Williams kind of got whatever he wanted to do inside, but somehow just stopped doing it from time to time. Same with Toppin. So it was a very bizarre game plan from Tech.
yeah.
Very bizarre.
Look, I'm going to trust Toppin to get those buckets much more consistently than I'm going to trust Walton. But
For sure.
Curran Walton got hot, and I understand the hot hand, so I get that. I just don't know if he's going to go 8 of 19 from three every single game.
A
Curran Walton might though. Curran Walton's a flamethrower, but
7-man rotation where two of you guys combined to shoot 31 threes, man. Steph and Clay ain't on that court.
so I take it you leave this game feeling worse about Texas Tech.
If they choose to play like this. But it's the same thing with Bama. Just stop shooting the threes, and I think you're one of the best teams in the country.
All right, I think Texas Tech will live with that. Advance to play Drake. Fun game, winnable game for Texas Tech as well. But Drake's no slouch. Drake's no slouch at all. We have a full preview for that game on the channel as well. So make sure you go check that out as well, and like and subscribe.
It is March, and that means that March Madness is upon us. And if you are looking for a place to play, Underdog Fantasy has you covered. Sign up and deposit using code SLEEPERS, that's code SLEEPERS, to receive up to $1,000 in bonus credit plus a free pick. Head over to Underdog Fantasy today and use promo code SLEEPERS to take advantage of this amazing offer.